Hello, everybody, and welcome to our 30-minute webinar called Rethink Your Drink. I'd like to start off our webinar by showing you a statistic that's taken from the 2015 to 2020 Dietary Guidelines. 47% of sources of added sugars in the U.S. population come from beverages, of which 39% come from sugar-sweetened beverages. I'm going to define that for you in just a minute, but I don't know how you're feeling about this statistic, but boy, let me tell you, when I saw this for the first time, I think I looked a little bit like this gentleman here. I was shocked. It was a real eye-opener for me, and I wanted to make sure that I could share this information with you. So perhaps by the end of the webinar, you'll have a few things to start thinking about when it comes to your diet, and maybe help you make better decisions on what you consume. Hello, everybody. Welcome. My name is Wendy Larson. I'm an Arbonne independent consultant, and I'm also a corporate trainer for a behavioral health and wellness organization. Today, what I'd like to do is share with you some ideas on how you can make better choices as far as what you consume, whether it's food, whether it's beverages. I'm going to focus primarily on beverages today, but I wanted to share with you some of the information that I've learned in my journey to better health. For those of you who don't know me, I have a very interesting background when it comes to my own personal health and wellness. When I was 20 years old, I was in school full-time, I was working full-time. There wasn't time for me to cook a home-cooked meal that was healthy and nutritious. The university didn't offer a refrigerator where I could store a nutritious lunch. And when I wasn't sleeping in my car in between periods, class periods, I could be found cruising through the McDonald's drive-thru or Del Taco or Carl's Jr. And of course, this was pre-Super Size Me, the movie. And I really didn't have that much of a health education. I did what was convenient. On my 21st birthday, my mother found me on the bathroom floor, crippled and paralyzed from pain. She rushed me to the emergency room, and the next morning I woke up and was told that I had to have emergency gallbladder surgery, and had my mom not found me, I would have died within a few hours. It was an incredible eye-opener. The surgeon even told me that I was the youngest person he'd ever had on his table for gallbladder surgery, and it was traced back to poor nutrition. Once I had the surgery, I decided, oh my goodness, I need to make some changes in my life. So I stopped drinking soda. I lost 12 pounds within a couple of weeks. Great. I also stopped eating out, fast food, etc., made a few healthier choices, and I kept the weight off. Fast forward 15 years, I kind of fell off the bandwagon a little bit. I started drinking some soda, not nearly as much as I had been in my 20s, and I started incorporating fast food into my diet. And now that I'm in my mid-30s, I felt that my poor choices are sneaking up on me. And they're not just affecting my appearance, but they're affecting me internally. And I can notice some fatigue and headaches and a little bit of cognitive fog. And so finally, last year, I made the decision to transition to a healthier lifestyle. But I wasn't quite sure how to make that jump, how to leap into that, I guess, challenge. And fortunately for me, Arbonne found its way into my life. Arbonne is a health, wellness, beauty organization. I got involved with that organization and went on the 30 Days to Healthy Living program, which revolutionized how I look at food, my relationship with food, and then also started me on the path to education about my own health and wellness. And so I thought it would be a fabulous idea to share with you what I've learned so we can grow together, support each other from a peer's perspective. So, like I said, today what we're going to focus on are the beverages that we consume. And I would like for you to at least start thinking about your day-to-day habits and activities, and maybe how you can incorporate some of the knowledge from this webinar into your diet. So I'm going to go back to my screen, and we're going to take a look at a few more statistics and break down what sugar sweetened beverages actually mean to you. Give me one moment and I will load that again for us. All right, we're going to say goodbye to our surprised friend and move into an overview of that statistic that we started out with earlier in the webinar. So here's the 47% in our pie chart. This comes once again directly from the 2015 to 2020 dietary guidelines. And by the way, that can be found on multiple government websites. I got it off of choosemyplate.gov. For those of you who aren't familiar with that, this is now the US government's approach to nutrition. I grew up with the food pyramid, and my plate, choosemyplate.gov, has since replaced that. Okay, so let's take a look at the 47%, just so you can get an idea of what this actually means to you and maybe how you can incorporate some of this information into your own health and wellness. I call this pie chart the Wowzer Pie, because once again, it's a visual representation of this staggering statistic that should really spark an interest in your hearts and your minds when it comes to approaching what you consume on a daily basis. 47% is a huge number when you think about it. Many of our sugars that we ingest come from beverages. That was shocking to me. And when we break down that 47%, we find that 25% of that number comes from our soft drink consumption. The next, running in second, are the fruit drinks. And then finally, we have our sports and energy drinks at 3%. So that's where you're going to be getting your 39% of sugar-sweetened beverages, meaning those beverages that have a sugar content in them, in addition to, for example, what you would find as sugars, normal sugars that are found in nature or in fruits. So these are added sugars to our diet. Coming in close second, which is not a surprise to me at least, are those snacks and sweets. So that's something obviously that I struggle with personally as well. I am a snacker and I have access to my refrigerator 24/7 because I work from home. And of course, I need to find the balance between my beverages and of course my snacks and sweets, just like many of you on the webinar today. All right, so what we're going to do is start off with a quick game, kicking off our Rethink Your Drink content for the day. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put on our next screen a statistic or excuse me, not a statistic, but we're going to play a little bit of a game. And I want you to take a look at this screen and take a quick mental guess on how many teaspoons of sugar do you think are in a 12-ounce can of Coca-Cola? Is it 9.75, 19.2 teaspoons, or 23.5 teaspoons? So I'm going to give you a minute to think about that and then show you the answer on the next slide to see if you are correct. So take a mental note and I'll continue in a minute. Okay, I'm going to fast forward and we're going to check it out and see how many of you were correct. The answer is, in one 12-ounce can of Coca-Cola, there are 9.75 teaspoons of sugar, which equates to 39 grams. So as you can see, I have my 12-ounce can of Coca-Cola. It's got Santa Claus on it. It's been in the garage that long and not consumed. But I just want you to understand what 9.75 teaspoons of sugar actually looks like. So believe it or not, this bag contains 9.75 teaspoons of sugar. Can you imagine consuming this in one sitting? Taking your spoon and just eating it, right, in one sitting? Well, I certainly couldn't, but guess what? That's what you're consuming when you drink one 12-ounce can of Coca-Cola. By the way, I am going to be highlighting several drinks in this webinar, and I don't want you to feel that it is a personal attack on these organizations that produce these products. Rather, it's an approach to help make you aware of some of the things that you're consuming. I'm a huge believer in personal accountability, and this country is great because we have free enterprise. So I just want you to start making better decisions when you fill up your shopping cart, or at least grab something in the refrigerator when you're thirsty. So the next thing that I'm going to highlight is something that's very personal to me, and it's a visual representation of what a teaspoon of sugar may actually look like. So what that means to me, and maybe to some of you, is that there's a lot of sugar in one can of Coca-Cola. So that goes back to my personal journey of 15 years post gallbladder surgery of incorporating soda back into my diet. And I decided to cut the soda out cold turkey, and it's proved to be very successful for my health and weight gain. What about those morning fixes that we need when we need to roll out of bed, wake up? Some of us need some caffeine. This was something that I consumed on a daily basis, and it was really hard for me to sacrifice when I found out just how much sugar was in 13.7 fluid ounce of Starbucks Frappuccino. This was a weekly buy for me. I drank this every single morning. And little did I know that there were 45 grams of sugar, which equates to 11.25 teaspoons of sugar. And that's what that looks like here. I can't imagine getting out of bed in the morning, going to the kitchen, taking my spoon and just eating this as opposed to drinking this. So that was a huge eye-opener for me as well. Well, how about those much needed energy drinks that we consume either early in the morning or maybe around 2 p.m. when we feel like we need the extra boost to get us through the working day? Believe it or not, 1/8 fluid ounce of Monster, which is one can, contains 54 grams of sugar, which equates to 13.5 teaspoons of sugar. And that's what that's going to look like. Okay. As a visual, 13.5 teaspoons of sugar. Amazing. Well, how about what we give our athletes? 12 fluid ounce of Gatorade, which is one bottle, contains 52.5 grams, meaning 13.125 teaspoons of sugar. Just a personal story for you with Gatorade. Believe it or not, I felt that Gatorade was a little healthier for me as opposed to fruit juice, and so I would buy a bunch of Gatorades every week in lieu of fruit juice, thinking that it was a healthier choice for me. And little did I know that it was loaded with sugar. So if somebody who doesn't need the so-called electrolyte replacement, this might not be a healthy alternative for you. Okay, let's keep going and take a look at a few more drinks just so you get an idea of a variety here. What about those wonderful things that we give our children in their lunches when they go to school? I grew up on Capri Sun. I love Capri Sun. It kind of brings back some great childhood memories. We used to drink Capri Sun and have some orange slices after every soccer game as our post-game recovery. And believe it or not, that contains 3.25 teaspoons of sugar, which is 13 grams. Now, when you look at that drink and consider, well, it's only 3.25 teaspoons of sugar, think of all the other sources of sugar that are being incorporated into your child's diet. So is that something that you want them to drink in order to contribute to that sugar consumption? As parents, that's most definitely up to you. And then finally, another drink that I wanted to highlight are the quote-unquote organic types of drinks. Okay, so for example, here's what's advertised as organic, and it may very well be organic. It's 8 fluid ounces, which is 1 bottle. This contains 25 grams of sugar, which is 6.25 teaspoons of sugar. Now, and this is what it looks like, or happens to look like in a bag. Just to be fair for some of these drinks that are on the market, I want you to understand that many of them contain fruit, and there are naturally occurring sugars in fruit, and there's a big difference between refined sugar that's added to, say, for example, something like a soda versus something that's offered to what's marketed as a super juice. So just keep that in mind as well. Read the labels. It's really important that you know what you're putting into your body. Okay, so now that we have an idea of a variety of drinks that we're consuming on a daily basis and how much sugar is loaded in many of those beverages, let's just take a look in a nutshell on what's going on in your body when you are drinking sugar or even eating sugar, however you end up consuming sugar throughout the day. When you drink, say, for example, Coke, okay, the sugar from this drink is going to enter into your bloodstream, okay? So it enters in pretty quickly, right? As you drink it, as you consume it. And then what happens is in your pancreas, the sugar goes into your pancreas, and your pancreas is what's going to help you process that sugar by releasing insulin. So when too much insulin is released, you start to go into the danger zone, right? And eventually you may have the drop in blood sugar. So many people start to feel a little bit lightheaded or not as focused when their blood sugar drops. And then what happens is when we go through this cycle and all this insulin is released, unfortunately, your body decides that it needs to store it in fat cells, for example, and then of course in other areas as well, because it doesn't really know exactly what to do with it. We want more, we crave it, and because the body is no longer using it for energy as it should. In fact, it's now storing it. So that's where some of the cravings come into play, and our body tricks our minds into thinking that we need to consume more. And it becomes a vicious cycle. So relating it back to my personal journey about 15 years ago, like I said earlier, I drank soda every day, at least 4 to 5 times a day. And it wasn't just a can, it was one of those big 32 ounces. And I really wasn't doing myself any favors, but as soon as I cut it out, boom, I lost 12 pounds. So it really made me a believer in how cutting out soda and other beverages high in sugar can really affect my health. Okay, so what you're probably thinking is, geez, Wendy, you have just destroyed my very faith in anything and everything that I eat or drink. And what am I supposed to drink now that you've spoiled it for me? So what I'm going to do in our next couple of slides is just go over a few alternatives that you can maybe think about when you are reaching for something to drink. I want you to understand that healthy does not mean that you're going to be unhappy with your choices. And that's something that I found out and am still finding out as I'm continuing my education and my journey towards better health. All right, so does it come to a surprise to you that water is a staple in your diet? And we need water to live, we need it to function, and it's very important that you get water into your daily routine. Many folks come to me and complain, wow, water is so boring and there's no taste and I don't like it. But at the end of the day, your body needs it to function. So what you can do is experiment with it, doctor it up, add some fruit to it, add some vegetables, just add some color. I want you to be creative when you are starting to think about water consumption. So some of us can just drink water and it's fine. We don't need to add anything. Others of us want to make it look like it's more of a fruit drink. And I found myself doing both approaches. I really do enjoy just a nice glass of water, but I also have a pitcher of water like this in my refrigerator. And so what I thought I'd do is to help you get into the mindset of becoming creative with your water consumption, I'll go ahead and post what's called the flat tummy water. And you can find some amazing recipes online for making your water a little bit more interesting, adding some flavor to it. For those of you who can't see the screen, it's basically 6 cups of water, a tablespoon of ginger, or grated, I should say ginger, 1 sliced cucumber, some lemon slices, and then there's also some mint leaves that you can add to it as well. I found that if I leave it in the refrigerator overnight, it has a better chance of becoming more flavored. So it's up to you. If you would like, I can give you my email address at the end of the webinar, so you can email me and I'll send you out this recipe. What I really want you to understand is that if you change your mindset on how you approach water, you're going to discover a whole new world, and it's going to become addicting, because once you find something you like, you're going to want to learn more and try more. And it really, really is an exciting process. So take a look online, find yourself some recipes. Just be careful on what you're adding, because as you know, fruit does have a lot of sugar, naturally occurring sugar. So if you want to limit your sugar consumption, you may want to just try natural plain old water. There's something else that I want to share with you as well to increase your water intake, and then one of the tools that I've used to help me in my journey, and that is tea. I know there are a lot of tea connoisseurs out there. Everybody who, well, I'd say a lot of people who drink tea on a daily basis have their own preferences, have their own brands, that kind of thing. And I really want you to also explore the avenue of tea. You can do hot tea, cold tea. Sweet tea does not count. So just as an FYI, a sweet tea, iced tea, that kind of thing, you got to be really careful about the sugar content in there. I've tried a variety of teas, and I really do like the Arbonne Herbal Detox Tea. I feel like it tastes really good. It gives me a nice balance between my water consumption and, of course, extra flavoring. It does help with the elimination of toxins in your system. So toxins are probably another conversation at a later date. But I found that the Arbonne tea does work well for me. I do, let's see, maybe 1 to 2 tea bags a day, just to kind of get me through the day. Another thing that I found to be really helpful in my beverage journey, as I'm sort of weaning myself off of these sugar-sweetened beverages, I found that the Arbonne Essentials Energy Fizz Sticks have really helped me as well. There's 2 flavors, pomegranate, citrus. On my journey I'd found that drinking coffee really aggravated my stomach, but I sort of needed a little bit of a caffeine source to boost me through the day. And the fizz sticks, the fizzies as I call them, really did help me. They've got a small amount of caffeine. There's B12, and it just is a healthier alternative to the sugary beverages that I would consume usually in the morning and then in the mid-afternoon when I felt like I needed a little extra boost to get me through the day. So this is something that I discovered on the 30 Days to Healthy Living program about my body, just how much coffee was aggravating my system. As you know, beauty begins in the belly, and I wanted to eliminate that caffeine or coffee that was giving me such trouble. So those are just a few tools that I've learned. And of course, if you're interested, you can certainly email me and I'll share with you some of the tools for success anyway that I incorporated into my diet. All right, so to wrap it up, I wanted to give you one last thing to really think about. Why does it matter for you to take the steps to become healthier? Well, the big thing is your personal health is not just about you. It's about your family. It's about your friends. It's about your fur balls, right? There are a lot of people that depend on you to stay healthy. And believe it or not, each one of us has something to contribute to this world. So we want to make sure that we have the opportunity to contribute, right? And longevity, our health, plays a huge role in that. So start thinking about, gosh, if I didn't take care of myself, who in my life would lament losing me? What are those repercussions? I just want to share a quick story. And of course, my mom probably, she'll kill me for telling this story. But recently, when I was speaking to my mother about the sugar sweetened beverages and the health side effects due to consuming so much sugar, she decided that it was time to clean out her refrigerator and really take a close look at what she was consuming. And she made the transition to water and to tea. And she got really excited about cucumber water, lemon water, mint, those kinds of things. And she called me and she said, I'm losing weight. And I'm really enjoying this. This isn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. I cut soda cold turkey and I feel great. And believe it or not, as a daughter, you don't even understand how important that was for me to hear, because I need my mom for as long as I can have her, and I need her to stick around. So it was just refreshing to hear that my mom was taking the steps to become healthier, not just for her, but also for me as well. So I wanted to bring it all together to at least get you to start rethinking what you are drinking. So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. I'm excited that you were able to join me on this journey. It's really important for me to share what I'm learning from a peer perspective, because it also helps me stay on track, stay on target. And, I just like being a support for others. If you would like to learn a little bit more about what I do, or if you want some resources to help you on your journey, or if you want to learn a little bit more about Arbonne, whether it's some of the products or the 30 Days to Healthy Living program, please do feel free to contact me. I am super excited to share with you what I've learned, what my journey is, and if I can contribute to your journey in any way, shape, or form, regardless of what it is, please do reach out to me. I'm very excited, and I will try to be as helpful as I can to you. So with that, I would like to say thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you learned a few things, and I will post this webinar So you can share it if you'd like, and I will talk to you next time. Take care, everybody. Bye.